Nairobi has never gotten proper political representation is because most of the people who come to represent Nairobians, with the exception of very few, like the likes of maybe Ken Okoth, the late, there are very few. True. You know, but most members of parliament who represent Nairobi, because it's kind of like a tribal.
They're not native.
Yeah, they're not native Nairobians because it's kind of like a tribal monopoly.
Right, whichever way it is, all I'm trying to say though is that there's money that is being made elsewhere, and so whether it came in one way and it's coming out, you know, so like, yes, I have to wash it or I have to take it this way, and maybe even I'm in collusion with the owner of the club. So I'm gonna come and it's me who's spending. It will come into your coffers, but then you'll bring it back to me, and you'll bring it back to me at maybe Sotano.
Wow, now there's
you know what I'm saying?
There's someone Tuchana Sema, all these so-called these so-called socialists, I think he meant socialites. All these so-called socialites and influencers ndio social equity seekers. And then let me see what else we have here. There's been so many comments.
Type words.
Yeah. Those are so many comments that have been coming in. Stephen JJ hapa nakubaliana, mimi nasema stolen money. And then Afro-Jamaican says, I would want my social to be earned by the good I have done and not by flossing. But I'm sure people see that very differently in Kenya. And then Washeki hapa anasema, Kenya inherited the social class and elitism of our former colonial master, and we have taken it to the next level. You go somewhere with Adudu, even the Wochi disrespects you. Lakini show up na V8, wewe ni kiongozi, Madam Big Bazoo. Yeah. Mi unaona, like the time when nilikuwa na bado niko nayo, my when I was in Kenya and people were talking about their cars, me, I proudly talked about my Hyundai. You know, your time bado na drive Hyundai, but I proudly talked about it. And you know, like there's someone who actually came kando na kaniuliza, you know, like, is everything okay huko? Why you know, like you've been there for so many years. Why you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You were pulled over.
Yes.
After that conversation.
Yeah, someone
Did they know that you bought that car almost brand new?
But you know, the you know, like me, I could not, because you see, at the end of the day, Mimi, like I wasn't even seeing the point of the conversation. But then I came to learn that the car you drive in Nairobi matters a big deal.
Yes. So
that's what I came to learn.
Ali, you're so right.
Before you get there, before you say that, over here, comments hapa ni mob more than ni. Brian Binyambo, karibu sana. He says, I'm watching. So he's watching our show with closed captioning on active. When he says Kerea inaandika Karia.
Closed captioning cannot capture the way Kenyans speak.
No, it cannot capture the way one mic speaks. So what do we need to say for Madogo than yours?
I don't know.
Brian Binyamo, Madogo than you. I don't know what the CC is going to say.
CC imesema nini?
We inherited social class. Oh yeah, you read that. There's a comment over here I wanted to read. I think when we're talking about, you know, the concrete jungles that are coming up, like they're building up flats, but even toys. You know, remember how we used to have a wide bath of play area, kwenda kucheza ball, bricky show, whatever. Nowadays it's concrete jungle
with oil in it and sticks, and we would be racing, and we would have safari rally, and we would build motifs out of the plastic oil cans and shape it,
and you know what,
use slippers and
what I don't understand about these concrete jungles, you know, like you go to certain spaces and you find a lot of them empty. So you're wondering, you know, like
who owns this?
Who owns them? Because they're building all these buildings and they're not even they're coming up.
They're coming,
and that's the reason why when diasporans go, there are plenty of Airbnbs available.
Yes,
plenty.
Because you don't even have to look from here. You can go land and you'll get it within 6 point from airport as you're waiting for your bags going around.
And then, you know, apparently kuna brokers wengi where you don't even go directly on the site.
Yes.
Yani people in Nairobi have their own contacts for Airbnbs. Wendi kwa site because site inachukua commission. So there's mtu tu unapigia agent na inatayarishwa.
Unatumiwa code.
Yeah.
Na unaenda unaingia unaambia wote code boom.
Yeah. Now
do what you got to do.
Now I'm going to read this comment. Nataka these peeps who buy stuff to show others wamefika ndio hao watu wakukuja Kanairo.
That's DJ Tucha's opinion.
A comment.
And it's his opinion. It's not a reflection of the OneMicShow.
But there's an element of truth. When you look at, let's say for example, most of the guys who probably have come and are representing certain areas of, let's say, Nairobi.
Okay.
Sana sana ni watu wakukuja.
You're talking about the population of diasporans.
No, politicians. Let's say like now for example, look at politicians, let's say in Nairobi.
Yes.
When you look at guys who are standing, guys who are, let's say, guys who are formidable.
Yeah.
Ni watu wakukuja. You can't say ni msalizaliwa Buru.
No.
Unaget ama ni alizaliwa Umo.
Yeah.
If there are si wengi, lakini watu wengi ni wakukuja.
Very few. Yeah. It's very few, and for some reason.
Ni watu wenje.
Yeah. And for some reason
I never thought about that way.
That was very common in Nairobi.
Somebody brought that up and I was like, because he said, you think about it. Watu wakukuja na wakikuja wanakujanga na fujo ingine. They don't want
88 points to prove.
They're not going back.
Yeah.
Hawarudi yuko.
Yeah.
And you brought up the story that at some point probably we're going to talk about Shannon Sharp. Wametoka mbali.
Yeah.
He can see forward. There is nothing else.
There is no turning back.
Iyo kulala nja. Kulala bila stima.
Maji.
Kulala bila maji. Cho uko unaenda nje. But now you have the ability.
Viatu ambazo hata unaweza vaa. Si zile umepewa na siji nani.
Kwanza ni kiatu pengine ulikota ukapelekea funi akatengeneza soul.
Pengine hata salvation. I'm just talking about
salvation
like, no, not
yeah, but those are the things. So it's funny that he says that in one aspect, those guys, their determination to succeed.
Yeah, is relentless.
It's even higher than us because than guys who are, let's say, born in the city, because you cannot say that you lacked. You can't, when you look, wezi kasamati ulilala inje.
For us who are born there.
Yeah, ulilala inje.
For us who are born there, because there's another generation who will tell you a totally different story.
Yeah, because now things are changing now. Things are changing now. But
I think I would say like even third or fourth wa Kibich. Wale wa sasa ile ghetto yenyewe imekuja imeingia Kibich, because Kibich sasa ile ghetto yao wagana stretch kutoka Langata all the way.
Yeah, now there's a kijiji in Langata
into.
Yeah,
it stretches all the way.
It's all the way
into Kibera as you cross the bypass, because there's a you can get from Langata to Cabs in 10 minutes.
Yeah, with the bypass.
10 minutes. Uko nyuma kuna kaka barabara shwa out
inside
Cabs. You took out over there Cabs. In fact you blink and you're like, what? You mean I'm here already?
And I think also part of the reason why, for example, Nairobi has never gotten proper political representation is because most of the people who come to represent Nairobians, with the exception of very few, like the likes of maybe Ken Okoth, the late, there are very few.
True.
But most members of parliament who represent Nairobi, because it's kind of like a tribal.
They're not native.
Yeah, they're not native Nairobians, because it's kind of like a tribal monopoly. It becomes very problematic. Like how watu hawaelewani. So you see, mtu kama Jalas, for example, and maybe he's doing a great job, I don't know, but akikuja, he's representing people in Nairobi West, in South Sea. To me, Jalas doesn't feel Nairobi West, doesn't feel South Sea. And even now to the young people who are growing up there, I don't think they have that identification with him, and that's why it becomes difficult to make that connection.
But even though he struggled in Nairobi, he struggled in Nairobi.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
You know, so maybe if you look at it from that perspective, that he knows the struggle of the common struggler.
But think about it this way: if I go to Karachuonyo or Bondo, you know, just because I went there, I got a job there, I have a business, and then I decide now nimeelewa mambo ya hawa watu. So now let me represent.
But that's what happens. Siko Obaya, that's what happens. That's what actually happens. You're either somebody who was there in business, either somebody who was there doing something, whatever it is that brought you in that place, and you stayed there for a long time. So that you get acclimated to the conditions and the things in that area. That's what normally ends up happening. Like for us guys here now, we've lived in this country longer than we've lived in Kenya.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we cannot go back and say at yo mimi ni mse wa Nairobi West. You will go back and say when ni mse wa Nairobi West, Jamas will laugh at you. Siko Obaya, but yes, when ni mse wa Nairobi West, but you cannot talk the same lingo with them. But then now, you know, over here, our local area, we can talk about this area because this is where we have been for the last, you know, 20 years. So it's something that somebody can, we can now even say, okay, I'm gonna go stand for office because nimekuwa hapa. I've been in the trenches. I know what's going on and I've seen certain things coming up.
Yeah. DJ Tuchapa anasema there's nothing wrong kama wewe sio wa Kanairo, but you're having a point to prove ndio doesn't make sense. Kula pesa yako polepole, sio kama Mike Sonko. So
and we all know Sonko is not from Nairobi.
There's one of Ali Badawi, you are saying to say all our representatives ni wase waocha, so they can't relate na shida za bontao kama kinasle. Uko wanachapana makumbo uko kwa nini?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna answer. I'm not gonna answer that one. You know, Slay Kwanza, she comes with nini. Her elbows come out with the ninis, makuchas. Yeah,
damn.
It's an elbow, but
so it's like that.
Yes, that. Osha pigwa hizo kumbo za bako. Sasa ile tunakuja nini ukapigwa hivi.